Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the B Channel podcast, where my objective is to bless, edify, and encourage others to live their best lives. And today I have a special guest, and our topic is a story of triumph featuring Heidi Kuhn Wideman. Please introduce yourself to the audience.
Sure, absolutely. I am Heidi Wideman. And the thing about me is that I am a mother, probably first, like I'm a mom. And second, I am a powerhouse of a coach to helping others improve their lives and become the best versions of themselves. Mostly, I find myself helping in like health, nutrition, but health is so full circle from inside to the outside. Appearance is a thing, but more than that is what things we process, like emotionally and even spiritually and financially, like all of the ways. Talk with my hands a lot because I do sign language. I do work with deaf people as well. And the next piece is that I'm a lipedema warrior, and lipedema is a cool condition that's not super cool, but we can talk about that later. And and I said that I'm a mom first because my biggest joy is found in parenting the four children I have, and they are beautiful, phenomenal, amazing kids, and they have high needs, special needs, from autism to ADHD to anxiety and such. So we can talk more about that later too, but that's me in a nutshell.
Wow, that sounds like you have your plate completely full. You have to really do a dance there. I don't even call it a balance anymore. It's more of a myth to say that. So it's a gracious dance.
It's true. I think what you just said is like true. I think people would often, when I have my children were really close in age as well, like, and so when I had them and we were discovering like these special needs as we go, and I have, you know, four kids under five, like it was an overwhelm to me as well. But my heart was so full. But that didn't change that my hands were full too. But people would always be like, "Oh my gosh, you have your hands full," and I'd be like, "Yep." Like, yeah, but you know what? Like my heart was full too, and I kind of wanted them to see that piece, like in my journey. So when you said like I'm doing a dance, and I was like, yeah, like we are, and
That's
good
big.
for it, right?
Yeah, that's big to see it that way. Like my heart's full too. Like this is not just they're not just a handful, they're a heart full. They make my heart full. I
Mhm.
like that. So share a little bit about your story with lipedema. Is that how you say it?
Yeah, lipedema. It's so a lot of times people, including the doctors that I've seen, they want to not they want to think that I'm confused, but they will, when I say I have lipedema, think that I mean lymphedema, and I don't
Mm-hmm.
mean that. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and I just make that really clear because lymphedema is this lymphatic thing that often when somebody has like cancer and they have lymph nodes removed, then their arm will kind of swell up if it was lymph nodes like in this area or whatever, like, so
Mm-hmm.
it's extremity kind of swelling up, and that is not symmetrical. It's typically
Mm-hmm.
one limb, or if you will. With lipedema, it's symmetrical, and it has not really much to do with your lymph nodes being removed at all, because I haven't had any removed. You know what I mean? but
Mm-hmm.
but sometimes lipedema, which I'll explain about for you, but it can get more severe and press on the lymphatic system as it grows. And so then you can also develop lymphedema on top of the lipedema.
Mm.
When those two come together, they then call it lipolymphedema. So you can have both.
Wow.
And I do have both. But so lipedema is a connective tissue disorder. Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
it's called a fat disorder. I like to hold on to the connective tissue disorder version because nutrition and exercise doesn't remove lipedema from your body in that way because it's not fat. So when you call it a fat disorder, you're talking about somebody looking larger, and they will, but it's not because it's fat. Does that make sense? And so I
Right. They
no,
can't help it.
yeah, it's not. So I've lost over 100 pounds 5 times now in my adult years, plus the 20s here and the 40s there and the other amounts of pounds, but like really big amounts of weight. And I was trying to place my hands on the video. Sorry. So those large amounts of weight, it takes a toll on somebody's body. Anytime you're dieting to lose weight, it's it's often something extreme, right? You're gonna go on keto, or you're going to do fasting intermittently, or you're going to have a gastric bypass surgery, or when somebody has a large amount of weight to lose, we want to do it on our own. I don't think anybody says, hey, let me go do this dramatic thing. But if your body isn't losing the weight and you've put in all these efforts, you start to say, like, what's wrong? Well, here I am losing weight successfully. I was pretty good at it, actually. I could lose weight. That's what's amazing, but only to a certain point. I would always bottom out and crash somewhere around 200 pounds,
Mm.
maybe 190, and that I didn't know that that should have been my goal weight. And I should have started increasing calories back into my world. I still was continuing these diets trying to get to, I don't know, I'm 5'4", so like between 130, 150, but I was never
Mm.
anywhere near that. And so, well, lo and behold, I became a health coach because I was finding success in this nutrition world and learning a lot of things about my body that made it feel better. Initially, I started it to lose weight, but by the end of it, I realized it didn't matter if my weight was coming off or not anymore. I felt better. And that was important to me because of all I had going on with the special needs kids, the young, the needing to be available to jump in and out of the car, to run down the street and chase them, to whatever I needed to do. And so feeling good was instrumental, like, in my world. And that's kind of where I started to learn I had lipedema. Once I became a coach and was helping others hit their goals and like achieve these weights that I wanted in my life, I said, what's going on with me? Because we are doing the same nutritional plan. And my
Mhm.
body doesn't do that. And because I knew exactly what I was doing for so many years, then I said, it's something else.
Right. And you can't that's something else that people have a misconception about too. Like, okay, that worked for them, but you're not cookie cutters. Everybody's body is different, their circumstances, your height, your weight, your culture, everything ties into what's going on in your body. So you can't just say, hey, that worked for them. Let me do this. And
Yeah.
it's gonna be the same result.
Yeah. And it's really cool because, can you still hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Like my screen did something funny, so I just want to make sure we're okay. But I said to everybody who I coach that we don't do the exact same thing.
Hmm.
Um, we do. We've all follow a plan, but it's going to
Hmm.
be customized to your body and to like what's going on for you. And so I kind of did learn that about myself. And mentally, I had a shift. Like, if I'm going to be at this weight, whatever it is,
Hmm.
and it looks overweight to everyone else, but it's as far as my body will go, then I need to start being okay there. That's my normal for now, right?
Right.
And that was hard because I felt judged by people, like a lot, because I was over 300 pounds at most of my adult years and working to get down, right? And so I had comments from others, and everybody wants you to be happy. They want the best for you, and they think thin is happy, right?
Mm.
They think like if you lose weight, you'll
See.
be happy. And I'm like, but I am happy. This is hard. My body's in a lot of pain. Lipedema is a connective tissue disorder, like I said. But what happens is, I had one doctor explain it like, because most of your body is connective tissue, right? From your bones, organs, skin, blood vessels, arteries, right? It's all
Mm.
connective tissue. And somebody with lipedema often has more flexibility, you know,
Mm.
like, comorbidity is Ehlers-Danlos, like the hyper version, right? And so
Mhm.
not hyper, what is it? Ehlers-Danlos. Yeah, hypermobility. So
Mhm.
hypermobility. And with that means like your blood vessels and arteries, they stretch more. And so they
Mm.
leak out, like out of the vein. And when that happens, your body attacks the protein, and the blood that's coming out doesn't belong outside of the veins.
Right.
Your body kind of attacks it, and it forms these nodules, most of them around the size of like pearls and peas, like
Mhm.
some are much larger. And it depends how long you've had it. There's different stages, different types. Um, Mine is like, we're just gonna say it's mostly, I'm the pear shape, it's
Mhm.
mostly hips, buttocks, and legs, and
Mhm.
upper arms. Okay, so those are like the primary areas. Somebody could have it just in their arms, somebody could have it just in their legs.
Wow.
But I got it all. Like, we're good. I'm that type. And so with that, I learned that I I learned that your fat wasn't supposed to hurt. Like when people touched my arm, like poke my kids,
Mhm.
poke me, like, "Hey, mom," and I'd be like, "Oh, wow," like, yeah, and they would, "Oh, I'm sorry, mom, I'm sorry," and I'm like, "That it is what it is, right?" I hurt.
Mm.
I didn't know we weren't supposed to. Isn't that crazy?
Wow. Yeah, that must have been really hard because people are judging you for something you can't even control. And then you're like feeling shame about it. And it's like this is where your body is. And it's not so much a plateau thing, but this is where you're meant to be. And so it's like, okay, accept where you're meant to be and try to be as healthy as you can,
Yeah,
even though all of these things are happening and it's not the most pleasant experience and people don't understand. It's like another layer of having to be yourself, but it's so visible to other people though.
yeah, and I said I felt judged. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I don't know if they were judging me or not. It didn't matter because I judged myself for them before they could, because I grew up
Mm.
in that state of kind of being bullied, a chubby kid. Um, Even in the high school, they make you run the mile. I would run the whole way, but it was kind of like a little jog. I couldn't go fast. My appendages are heavy. Like that lipedema holds weight that's not really mine. So I don't know how to quite explain it, but I would run the whole way and I would just barely come in right before the people who were like little rebels and walked the whole thing because they
Mm.
didn't dress out for PE or whatever, like
Oh
I
my
was
goodness.
working my butt off to be last, you know?
Mm.
And like I remember praying that I'd have asthma because the people with asthma didn't have to run the mile.
Oh my goodness.
Like,
Girl, pray
I
for something else to happen. It must be bad.
you know, it but what I realized through like coaching and such is I kind of had this epiphany. See, if it didn't matter if they were judging me or not because I was already doing it for them, that like shifted in my brain because I realized it actually meant I was kind of judging them. And I said, I have to just be okay in my own skin. It doesn't matter what anyone thinks. Like, I am okay being me. Like, I'm a beautiful person inside and out, and I might be larger, and that's okay. Every time I go to the doctor, and it'd be like, well, if you lose weight, you'd feel better. But I'm like, no, but it's in pain, like I ache. No,
Right.
it doesn't need knee surgery. No, no. If you lose weight, your knees will feel better. And that's true. But I couldn't lose the weight, you see?
Right. So it's
And
kind of
so,
like you're in between a rock and a hard place. And it's like, you don't understand.
well, the doctors, I think they just didn't know. Like, I've had to educate each doctor on this condition. And the
Mm.
thing about that is, those who know me, like the doctors who I already knew from this relationship over time we've had, they like, it was like, oh my goodness. Yes, that's what you have. It makes so much sense now. So they were okay. Other people that I didn't have the relationship with, I remember I needed to have my gallbladder removed, and the surgeon was like, oh, and he removed it. And then I got a hernia from where the gallbladder incisions were, and he wouldn't
Mhm.
repair it because I was quote unquote obese.
But you were still the same before the surgery, though. Make it make sense.
Yeah, make it make sense. And so we now couldn't repair the hernia.
Oh my God.
Okay, because now I get it. Because going in to repair it, you make 4 new holes or something like that that could all get hernias as well. And
Mm.
obesity then like pulls on it or stretches it or something. I don't know. But in my world, I then had to go through over a year with like 4 or 5 other appointments, kind of begging him to repair this hernia. That finally he sent me to get the CT scan on and was like, let's go repair it.
Wow.
It's like he didn't believe me. But my
About the
bowels
right
were going
person.
through the hernia, and I'd have to like push them back in the hole. But it wasn't like enough, right? It wasn't enough to fix because he didn't believe me that my body didn't lose weight, that my
Mm.
BMI is inaccurate.
Yes, you know what? I wanted to touch on that when you were talking earlier because people try to like shame you for your weight. And as a black woman, I can add context to this because oh, your BMI and it has to be this number, but you're not taking into account different people as far as how they're shaped. It's like it's genetic, it's like it's cultural, this is historic, this is how our bodies are different. So you can't just put us in a box and say, "Oh, this number fits." And that doesn't apply. Like you were saying you wanted to be 130. I'm like, "Child, think about how you got to think about it like, yes, okay, that's the number that they want you to fit into, but how are you going to feel? Can you successfully maintain that weight?" And you know that's something that people don't consider when they say, "Oh, be this weight." You
Mm,
don't know all the ramifications of that.
yeah, absolutely. And I think too, when we say you can't box people in like that, right?
Yeah.
Because part of health is like healthy surroundings, healthy relationships, healthy sleep, healthy stress, like non-stress or healthy stress, managing stress in a healthy way. And if all those things are playing a part, then how can you say that would need to be their weight if they have sleep apnea and get 4 hours of good sleep, right? Then
Yeah, like
that
you
shifts
can't
things.
help it.
Is not
Like,
now it's not nutrition, it's sleep. You see?
right,
And you eat to stay awake because you're so tired. So there's so many things to look at in a person, right? When it comes to health. And
right.
if um and if somebody's in a lot of pain, like I was, like I am
Mhm.
still actually, I take several pain meds and muscle relaxer to still be in pain.
Right. So it's like numbing it. It's tolerable, but it doesn't go away.
Yeah. And I didn't know like the life without that, right? I
Mm,
didn't know because it's a genetic disorder, but it's new to me because my mom didn't know she had it and my sisters didn't know of it, but we all had this going on, right? So then I
mhm.
learned, like, now I'm going to help them. And then I found clients of mine that had it, and now I can help them. So it's kind of like pay it forward. Now that I know, I'm not going to keep it to
Ah.
myself, right?
Yeah, you can. This reminds me of Mystery Diagnosis. I would watch that show. Like I would geek out when they're like, "Oh, what
I've never
happened?
seen
What
that.
is this?" And like people wouldn't believe them, and I'd be like, "Come on, somebody believe them and figure this out." So that kind of like when you were talking about your story, I'm like, "Wow, it's amazing what happens when the right person actually says, you know what, you're right. You're not crazy. This is what's going on in your body. I believe you."
Yeah. You're finally seen and heard, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's amazing.
And we need
So
that. More people need to be seen and heard, right?
yes. So is that part of what made you want to become a coach?
It's cool because I wanted it to be I coached people before I became a coach. Like it was because I knew how to lose weight so well.
It was in
I
you.
was helping friends. As an overweight person, my friends trusted me because they saw how I ate, how I did. They saw me. They knew I could help them. That's the beauty of real relationships, right? And so I was
Right.
coaching before I became a coach. I became a coach because I was very successful following this one program. And
Mhm.
like I said, I started to feel better. When my weight plateaued out, I kept doing the healthy things anyway because it
Mhm.
didn't matter now. It wasn't about weight, it was about how I felt. And so I started helping my friends. And that's when I came to know of lipedema. I didn't know before.
Mm.
So actually becoming a coach helped me discover my lipedema.
Wow. So going after something that was already in you and really building upon that, that helps you to learn more about yourself and your body and your health.
Mhm. And you know what? I love when you rephrase or restate what I've said and you speak it back to me. I'm like, oh, that was so much more elegant. Yes, that's what I mean. But it's hard because it's like you're holding a fire hose. Like I have so much I've learned that I want to like pour out. And you have to kind of just decide like what's important. What are the facts here? What does my doctor need to know in this scenario? How is he going to help me? Right. So
Yes.
there's not a cure for lipedema. So it's just something that's going to be there. There is a surgery option, but the surgeons are still far and few, um,
Mhm.
literally far, like in another state. and
Mm.
travel. But insurance doesn't always cover this yet because when you there's like a lymphatic sparing liposuction thing involved. And the minute you say liposuction, it's like, nope,
Cosmetic.
right. So it's a battle. It's a battle to get some of the lipedema removed so that it will be less painful.
Right. So it's like, listen, this is not about me looking cute. I want to feel better. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Let's cut some of this red tape.
Yeah. That's interesting because even you said like in the Black community, like you're often a certain body type or a certain
Mhm.
structure of bones or a certain this and that and the other. And even in your culture that way, you can't place someone in a box,
Yeah,
you know?
like I can't help that. That's what my grandmama gave me. This is handed down, okay? This is genetic, and I'm gonna try my best. I can not eat the whole bag of chips or
Right.
whatever. Try different things and watch what I'm consuming and drink the water and do all the things. But in the course of life, things can still happen just because you do everything right. There are a lot of people do everything right and stuff still happens. So it's just so important that we don't say, "Hey, you need to do this and this is going to happen." Like, no, none of us can tell what's really going to happen. Just make the best choices you can. Like you said, keep staying with the healthy choices regardless of the fact that you did not get the outcome that you were hoping for.
Yeah. Yeah. And my daughters, they don't 100% know this yet, but they kind of have a good idea is lipedema is visible on their body to me. I know right now. So
Mm.
it's something that I now can help them now with eating healthy, right? Not on a diet because you don't need to lose weight. It's not about that, but eating healthier helps reduce some pain to a degree because sugar gives you inflammation, right?
Right, right.
So,
That's so big. People don't really know that sometimes. Like that sugar, boom. Like it just is like a catalyst to just make you just be inflamed.
yes.
So yeah, we gotta stay away from it, even though we love it. You gotta stay away if you want to be healthier. To at least to a certain extent, in moderation.
Yeah, no, and then trying to find compression garments or whatever for little kids, it's hard, you know, but it would be smart already to be compressing that a little bit for them. And so that's where I am right now is kind of trying to find the right things for them before I talk to them more about it, that
Hmm.
they have that. And no doctor's gonna say it because they
Right.
don't do that.
Right. It's still new. So it's like everybody's discovering it together. It's like a group project. And then you're like, is it possible that the compression socks could like be like Spanx? Does it like train the body to not like go a certain way, or does it help
So
at all in that way?
it's not, how do you say, it's not necessarily preventative, but it's conservative.
Oh, so it's going to help it to a certain degree, but it's not going to like prevent it. So
Right.
okay, so it's like, okay, this is manageable. That's the point.
Honestly, I think because I was on a diet for
Mm-hmm.
literally my whole life, not literally, but mostly my whole life,
Mm-hmm.
I think that on one hand helped my lipedema, right?
Mm.
And that way I wasn't eating as much sugar as other people, or I was limited even at home. Mom, oh, do you think you should really have that big of a bowl of ice cream? I know your five brothers eat that much, but you probably could, whatever. However it was spoken,
That
and
was shame. Let's
and
just
then
call that out.
it's shame. And I don't think now I know that's not what my mom's intent was, but it was hurtful. And
Right.
she didn't know because you don't know what you don't know.
Right. So she's like, "Oh, you just getting bigger, and you eat this ice cream. You don't need to put that hot dog down, girl, because that's not helping you." And you're like, "Listen, there's something else going on."
Yeah. But I didn't know. I thought
Right.
I had a problem, right? I thought I was wrong. I was bad, or I was fat, ugly, lazy, those things that people attach to the fat word, And I'm like,
Words
there was some point
matter.
where I read something and it was like, I am not fat. My body has fat, but I am not fat.
Right. Don't assume their identity.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so I kind of walked through all these different phases in my education and learning and healthy ways. So on the one hand, where eating healthy did help my lipedema not be as extreme, maybe at this point, sometimes the dieting did hurt, because a diet where you then hit the bottom and plateau and don't add calories back in because you don't know you should, like, kind of crash my metabolism, like then
Right.
you're fighting and then you rapidly regain because lipedema doesn't know.
Mhm.
Lipedema doesn't know what it doesn't know also. So it's interesting. It's kind of interesting when I sit and talk about it, but I will give you the statistic. It's 1 out of 9 women have lipedema. 1 out of 9 is the same statistic as breast cancer,
Wow.
and doctors just don't know.
Wow.
In Europe, they know more there, and they've known for a lot of years, but here in the States, it's not the same yet, and it's just kind of, and I'm part of it, is kind of starting to spread, like, the information, and I
Mm.
think that with that kind of statistic, women gotta know, right?
Yeah, because it's like that's not nothing,
Yeah,
like, you know. So it's important because it's like that's getting up there. That's not 10%. That's like, so it's getting close to
yeah,
the other ends of like 20.
yeah, yeah.
So
So, if you're gonna have something that's that prominent, you wanna have
mhm.
people know how to help you. And even if there is no help, what counselor are you gonna talk to about this now, right? Or
Right.
what's
So
next?
would you say that's your target audience, or would you be more broad in your as far as who you're going to coach?
Yeah, I coach them all. I but
Mhm.
but I would love to help those with lipedema because I have the insight and the information on how, because I've
Mhm.
experienced it.
Mhm.
But do you know what? When I started coaching, I didn't know that somebody that had 10 extra pounds on their body could affect them as much as my 130, the extra pounds on my body that, like,
Yeah.
that held me back and held me down. That 10 pounds, for somebody who's not used to that 10 pounds, it could affect them just as much as that did for me. I didn't know that, because 10 pounds was like nothing to me in my brain.
Right. So that's why it's important for us not to compare hearts,
Yeah,
because your heart is
yeah.
just as, valid as somebody else's heart.
And so it took me, like, I learned, and I coach a lot of people who just have, well, some have no weight to lose. Honestly, they just want to learn to be healthier, right?
Yeah, and
I
that's a
wasn't
good
on
goal. That's still valid.
Yeah. On my radar, I was like, I want to lose weight. That's why I
Mhm.
started. I wasn't saying to myself, I want to be healthy.
Mm.
Interesting, right? But on all the blood work and all the labs and anything you ran about me, I looked like a healthy person
Right.
because I was inside very healthy. I just had lipedema, which added this weight, but I wasn't. Classically, they expected me to be diabetic, to have high blood pressure, and to
High
have high cholesterol.
cholesterol.
And I never had any of it. Even to this day, I don't. But
That's a blessing.
yeah, it's a thank you, Lord, for this, but just saying, like, I'm walking in being judged.
Right. They have preconceived notions like, oh, you got this issue, so you must have all these other things going on.
Yeah, it's that lose weight, you'll feel better, but also, read this book
Mm.
so you can learn how to eat right. Like, and I'm like,
Wow.
I've come a long way, and
I think
you
I
you
can figure
don't
that
know
out.
me.
Yeah. So what would you say? You have your own podcast called the Own Your Grit podcast. What would you say keeps you going? What gives you your grit?
This is a really good question. Um, so So I didn't know so many things, right, about
Mhm.
my own body and about myself, despite all the great efforts I put into feeling better and doing better
Mhm.
and being better, right?
Mhm.
So then I have became a mother to four
Mhm.
incredible children. And that's kind of where things started for me when my fourth child was born. I think she was about 3 or 4 months old when I said, I got to get healthier. I don't feel
Mhm.
good. Or I need to
Mhm.
lose weight. It probably was. I don't feel so good. And then
Mhm.
just a week into eating healthy, I was like, I feel better. Not that I wasn't eating healthy before, but not eating. I was not eating sometimes because my hands were very full and I couldn't carry an apple to the car with me. Like
Right.
literally exhausted in the life and that stage. And mama couldn't take care of herself because she was stretched so thin, but I wasn't thin at all. But just
Right.
that way, that is when I think I had to rise to the occasion because um, you become an advocate for your children when
Hmm.
people don't see what you see. It's kind of like lipedema for me. With my kids, I said, no, this is not typical behavior. And we'd take them in. The doctor would say, looks good to me or doing fine with me. And I'm like, right now, yes. But this is a 50-50. I bring it, you might see it. I bring it, you might not, because they're higher functioning. Because they had, even in the schools, we get some of this, but they excel. You know, their academics is soaring high. Therefore, we don't need to help them,
Mm.
right? Because they're getting fine grades, so there's nothing we can do really.
Wow, that's crazy.
So
And so it like depends on the day. Like, oh, if they're having a bad day, all right, we need to address this. No, they're having a good day. No, there's nothing wrong.
yeah, a bad day would be like now they're getting in trouble because I'll give you an example. During right after COVID, when kids were kind of back at school,
Hmm.
because one of my son, both my sons are autistic, and one of them had a big anxiety, big fear about COVID in the
Hmm.
returning when they're wearing masks and all these things.
Hmm.
And there was kind of a little bully who was behind him in line, in the classroom line, and he would touch him to give him COVID, quote unquote.
Oh my
They
goodness.
had like this assigned seating at their lunch table, and he would breathe on his food, like, right?
Oh my goodness.
So that would be like in the line to go to the bathroom. Well, he would, when he got in the bathroom, would wash his sleeves with the soap and water. Okay. Then he would get in trouble for playing in the bathroom.
Wow.
Do you see where academics aren't relevant to autism right now?
Yeah.
Or to
Yeah,
anxiety?
because like he's feeling anxious. He's feeling unsafe. And you're saying he's playing. That's not what even happened.
And he
And
can't
it's
express himself.
right. And you can't be there to advocate. He can't advocate for himself. So it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
So that's kind of where a lot of my grit comes from, is learning that people need that. You need each other. My kids need somebody to step in for them. My doctors, really honestly, they need me to step in and teach them because there's so many of their patients who have this going on and they just don't know. So it's kind of like I kind of started saying, this is hard. And I've been underplaying it, right? Like
Hmm.
people, how you doing? Oh, I'm fine. No, I'm not fine. Oh, I'm in a lot of pain. But it's not what you really want to know. I'm like, how well are we to admit what's really going on for ourselves? I started being very authentic with people. You
Yes.
know what? I have 4 special needs kids, and I would used to kind of say, but everyone has their things. Da, 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 da.
Right.
I realized no, I have 4 special needs kids, and it's hard.
Yes, it's both and like you can say how you feel and like express yourself about it because then other people are like, I didn't know that. The ones that have empathy.
Right,
They'll
right.
say, "Hey, I didn't know that. I'm so sorry that you're going through that. I'm so sorry this is so tough for you." So, is that your main thing that you think that people should know about autism or anybody on the neurodivergent spectrum? Is that what you think, you
Yeah,
know, is important for people to know? It
yeah.
doesn't always show up.
This little one's gonna come get a hug.
Hi.
Friends.
Hi.
Mhm.
What's your name?
What's your name? What's your name?
My name is Amber.
Amber. My name's Capri. Capri.
Capri?
What's his
Like
name?
Capri Sun?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Show her who you have for a minute.
Many.
Mhm.
Yes.
I'm talking with her about you a little bit. That's kind of cute. That's kind of cute, huh? Yeah. Talking about you guys and how you do at school. Do you like school? Yeah. You want all of that in there? I'm pouring some drink into her cup for her. Yeah, you found Pup Pup. Okay, there you go. You're
I
welcome.
got a lid for a reason.
Okay, I'll put the lid on. So
Can you put it facing towards this?
Yeah.
That's how I kind of like to put it.
We've got these little cups with lids. I'll show you for those who
It
are
kinda looks
viewing.
like coffee.
So they look like little coffee cups, but it says like ready, almost there, closer, not yet, as you drink.
Oh,
She wanted
okay.
that to face her when she drank out of the cup.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's cute. I
So
like
thanks
that.
for coming to give me a hug. Here, take this one with you, and Daddy's going to tuck you in tonight, okay? I'll come up and get you when I'm done.
No, you tuck me.
After my thing, I'll come tuck you, okay? So cute, right?
Yes.
Yep.
I love that.
Capri
That-
is my youngest. He's
Oh,
coming up
okay.
15, and I'll just tell you, like, she's the one. This is something I didn't know I needed, by the way. But she's the one who came and wants the physical hug, touch. Like, she's the cuddler. My others is more, and she has a lot of sensory, but some sensory seeking in that way. My others are like avoiding, like, don't touch me too much, right?
Right.
So by the time I got my fourth, and she like wanted that, it was like, oh, thank you.
Yes, that's what I learned. Like, I know somebody that has autism, and he seems like a very loving person. And just corresponding with him, like we met virtually, but I haven't met him in person. But he's so loving, and that's what I think that more people should know about autism is that they're loving.
They
You
really,
know,
thanks for saying that. I'm gonna tell you about these little kids. Like, they, and I'm gonna say this is probably true of most children. They want to do the right thing, whatever that right thing is. They want to please you. If they can do it, they will do it. And so I found that, like, when I'm getting that meltdown or that whatever, it's because something didn't jive in their world. And it's not because they're trying to be bad or quote unquote bad, right? Like,
right,
so that's where I think God gave me an incredible amount of patience, because it's a little more natural for me to sit in these situations. Now, it does take patience, yes,
yes,
but I found that, like, it's a gift because I'm able to sit and kind of help them process some of these big things. And that didn't, not everybody just has that. So I'm
right.
so grateful for that. And then to know that, like, hey, God's got my back. My grit's there because anytime I've fallen, quote unquote, he has been there. So I know
Yes.
I can do that hard thing.
Yes. So we just kind of witnessed the challenge in real time, but do you have any other recent challenges that you would like to share in terms of raising autistic kids?
Yeah. So with right now, I have one in high school, one in middle school, and two in elementary. So we've kind of got, like,
Oh,
you know,
stair
all,
step, like
all
every
the
level.
um my my high schooler, um, what happened is the friends she had for her 3 years of middle school, they were zoned into a different high school than she was.
Oh my
So she
goodness.
went to, my daughter left my door open, so you hear the doorbell and the dog maybe, sorry.
This
um
is real life,
yeah,
honey.
it's real life. Yeah. My husband got it though. He's so good. So she went with no friends, and she has extreme anxiety. They all have this big anxiety stuff. And so for her, she was so worried and so concerned. And she's in all AP classes. Remember, academically, they soar. So it was a lot to not have somebody to really talk with, to not have a friend to sit and eat lunch with. So those for her were dealing with that phase of her life. And I'm proud and happy to say that she knows, so she's working on it. Like, she's learning that not everybody is naturally her friend, that she has things she likes, and not
Hey,
everybody,
hey,
you know,
somebody say that again for the people in the back, because that's a lesson we can all partake on, and just really take that in. And that's hard. Like, especially, it's one thing if you don't have those challenges to make friends, but imagine just feeling that anxiety or feeling like you're othered all the time anyway. And then,
yeah,
like, oh, now I gotta make friends. And it's just that has to be lonely.
it is. Not everybody likes what she likes or the way she thinks, right?
Right.
It's
Man,
different.
tell her to embrace those quirks, honey.
Can I tell you how she does? She says,
Mhm.
Mom, I know I'm different. I know people think I'm weird, but I like how I am.
Yes, and that's the most important
Right?
thing.
And I'm like,
You like you.
that's what it. And she said, And I was just somebody I know was writing a book about this, what I'm going to say next. Or it's written, but now they're getting it out there. But it's like, she's not sure, quote unquote, how to identify herself, because in middle school, it seems like they're all grabbing this identity thing. And I'm like, honey, your identity is you. That's it. You want to trap yourself into this identity or this identity or this identity, and then you're limited. But like, if you're you, you can be whatever you want. You be
Yeah,
you, right?
yeah. God
That's
made
your
you
identity.
special. You're
Yeah.
unique. You're made in his image. So run with that.
And
Okay.
she's embracing all of who she is. And I think that's important in her journey, right? So, and then my
Yes.
son in middle school deals with big depression on top of his autism. When you're autistic, in his face, see, none of my kids know they have
Mhm.
this. They don't know they're autistic. We didn't talk about that with them yet. So it's
Right.
just that I think this one, it's time to talk with him, because he's starting to say they think I'm weird, right? Like, he's really,
Right.
that joke really fell flat. Nobody laughed. How am I going to ever be an entertainer when I grow up? Because he kind of wants to be like a comedian or something when they don't laugh at my jokes.
Right. And that could be isolating to feel like nobody gets you.
Yep.
Right.
That's where he is right now. And he could tell you, like, count on one hand how many friends he has in his school, right? Because not many people stop to understand him.
Right. And that I love, like when I hear those stories about people and they'll just go up to people at lunch and just sit with the person that's by themselves. I think more people need to do that. Like that's so special.
Yeah. That's how my one in high school, that's how she found the friends she has right now in high school. Like, she went to them and said, "Can I eat with you?"
Right. You see somebody alone, that makes their day.
Yeah.
That's just like it's no telling the impact that that has on somebody's life when you see somebody alone. Go say hi. How are you doing?
Go
Like
see each other up. Yeah. We can all use that. I think that, like, something I am in my coaching world is that I think that's the new pandemic is loneliness and
loneliness.
isolation. Mhm.
Yes. So if you could plant one seed for the listeners from this entire conversation, what would you want them to take away?
That when when you find yourself in those tough places,
Mm-hmm.
whether that's lipedema or special needs children or being shamed or whatever it may be, that there's always this hope. Hang on, I wrote a lyric today. I'll pull it up for you. But there's this hope on the other side, and you can look to it, right? And
Mm-hmm.
it's not really all the way done, but it was like, it's he who holds the universe in his hands that also holds me,
Yes. Yes.
right?
Yes.
And so, like, he consoles me, he beholds me, he molds me. It's like, that's what we're going through. And he's going to be there when no one else is. He's going to be there. And if things don't feel all right, then it's not the end, because in the end, everything's going to be all right.
Yeah, that's hard to grasp sometimes, but we have to keep telling ourselves. I was watching a podcast called the Hill Girl Era podcast with Gia Peppers, and she had on Dr. Anita Phillips, and they were talking about how sometimes you have to sing a song to get yourself to that place where you want to be. You may not feel like that, but you gotta sing yourself into that place. Like you want to feel peace, listen to a song that makes you feel peaceful. So I thought that that was something that was really
Cool.
soothing to really reflect on.
Yeah. It could be that peaceful song. My daughter, my oldest, she does it. She just wakes up to Alexa now. Like, it comes on with her music, and it's a dance party from the moment she's awake. As I said, she's not everyone's cup of tea, but that's my cup of tea. I said, girl, you do that thing, right? You could,
Yes,
when they're all authentically them, I think it's beautiful. So,
yes, that's definitely special. So, do you have any projects coming up that you're working on?
well, I guess if you were to ask me projects, my biggest thing is right now is interviewing people on my podcast who have shown up with this kind of grit, right?
Hmm.
This
Hmm.
that that it might be we just got out of bed that day, and that's how I showed my grit.
Yes.
and kind of featuring those. It doesn't matter what it is, but everybody has a grit in them. And you're going to tell me about that experience. And I like to just showcase people in that way. That's my project, because what I found is sometimes people just need to be heard, to be seen, to be known that little bit.
Yes.
And that can like give you the like power to go another day, right?
Yes.
So
That's
that's been
big.
the latest.
Yes. So how can we connect with you?
Oh my goodness. I'm on Instagram as at Health Coach Heidi.
Mhm.
You can find me on Facebook, that Heidi Kuhn Wideman, like that was there a second ago. And then you can also grab my podcast. I think you can reach out to me when you listen there. It's called Own Your Grit.
Yes, yo. So, for everybody listening, all of this information is on the screen right now as far as her handle on Instagram, and all the tea on her will be in the description of this podcast for everybody that's listening. You know, if you're watching, it's on the screen. But I just want to thank you so much for taking the time to join me today. And I know that that was, a very valuable time that you gave me today. So I thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
And
Thank you so much. Bless you.
yes, and for everybody that's watching or listening, um, on you're watching on YouTube or you're listening on Spotify, make sure that you like, you comment, you subscribe, you share. Let us know what you think about this podcast. Leave a review, a rating if you can. And be sure to follow me at B-Channel27 on all social media platforms for more content just like this. Thank y'all so much for watching out there or listening. And peace and blessings until next time.
Hey, thank you so much.